Hey there, welcome to our 79 replay in game number 35. We are at Shea in Flushing, Queens. If you take the 7 train to Willets Point, you will be at the stadium. And today it's the Cardinals' Bob Sykes on the mound. And he's going to be facing the Mets' ace, Craig Swan. We're right about to get started. And I'm going to show you I score, and we're going to go through the defensive lineup for the Mets, and we're going to go through the offensive lineup for the Cardinals. So let's take a look right now. In the field for the Mets is Steve Henderson in left, Mazzilli in center, and Youngblood in right, Richie Hebner third, Taveras at short, Doug Flynn at second, Willie Montanez at first. You then have Craig Swan on the mound, and he will be pitching to John Stearns behind the plate. And offensively, the lineup for the Cards is going to be Gary Templeton leading off, playing shortstop, Lou Brock in left field. Batting second, batting third is Keith Hernandez. First baseman, Ted Simmons, the catcher. Cleanup, Dane Org, the right fielder, batting fifth. Sixth is Tony Scott, the center fielder. Seventh, Ken Reitz, the third baseman. Ken Obergfell, batting eighth at second base. And Bob Sykes, the pitcher, left-hander. He'll be batting ninth. So here goes. We're going to get started. It's going to be Craig Swan pitching to Gary Templeton. Swan was 14-13 with a 3.29 ERA. Gary Templeton batted .293 versus right-handers and .346 versus lefties. So that's a tough 76, actually 79. And that's going to be Sky to center, Mazzilli. One down. And it's Lou Brock batting second today. He was a leadoff batter yesterday. Ballpark 96. So that's going to be in play. And that's an 89. In play 89 is out range. Grounded to second, Flynn, 4-3. Out number 2. And then it's Keith Hernandez. Left-handed hitting first baseman who batted .353 versus righties. Now, he was the co-MVP in the National League in 1979, so he is definitely a batter to contend with here, and that's going to be in play 25. That's going to be a hit for sure. And it is. Line drive, base hit to right for Keith Hernandez. He's on at first with a 2-out knock. And it's Ted Simmons. Ted Simmons hit 26 home runs, 11 versus right-handed pitching, batted .288. Here's the pitch. Hernandez is not going to run. 11-6. You know what? He could run, and he doesn't, so we're going to re-roll that. Re-roll these. And that's a 6. In play, 95. That's outrange. That's Sky to left. Henderson out number 3. Side retired. Who's there? Jerry. Yes, co-MVP with Willie Stargell. And we're going to face Willie Stargell. We just came from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh will be visiting Shea in a couple of games from now. So we will see Stargell again. It's Bob Sykes. He's a left-hander. He was 4-3 with a 6.18 ERA. 13 games, 11 games started. He's going to be facing Steve Henderson, leadoff batter for the Mets. Henderson batted .395 versus lefties. And that's Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 69 is going to be outrange. Grounded to second, Obergfell. One down. And let's go over the Mets defensive players. Left field, Lou Brock. Center field, Tony Scott. Right field, Dane Org. Ken Reitz, the third baseman. Gary Templeton at short. Ken Obergfell Second baseman Keith Hernandez at first. Bob Sykes on the mound, and behind the plate is Ted Simmons. And batting for the Mets, Steve Henderson leading off. Frank Taveras batting second at short. Lee Mazzilli, center fielder, batting third. Richie Hebner, he is batting fourth. Cleanup hitter, third baseman. John Stearns, catcher, batting fifth. Willie Montanez, sixth at first base. Joel Youngblood batting seventh, right fielder. Doug Flynn, second base, batting eighth, and Craig Swan batting ninth. So that's my 10-inch iPad, and I use iScore. All right, so Frankie Taveras, and that's ballpark. And ballpark 62, a righty, that's going to be in play 38, and that's out of range versus a lefty out of range. And that's going to be a grounder back to Sykes. Sykes feels his position. One down. Actually, should be two down now. Lee Mazzilli. That's in play 41. And that's going to be a grounder again back to Sykes. Sykes up with it, throws him out. 3 up, 3 down. After one, no score. Going to start moving and grooving now. Craig Swan to Org. Here's the pitch from Swan. In play 77. That's a ball sky to center. Mazzilli. One down. Tony Scott. And that's an 8. That's tough. 10. That's a strikeout. Scott goes after the high cheese. And it's Ken Reitz, third baseman. Here's the pitch from Swan. That's patient. 22. And that's going to be a line drive base hit to left. Henderson gets it in. So a 2-out knock for Reitz. He's on at first. There's no score here in the top of the second. Lefty Obergfell. And that's a ballpark 76. That is going to be in play. And a 68 in play 68. That's out range. It's going to be a ground to short. Taveras flips to Flynn. And the force. Side retired. We're going to go to the bottom half of the second inning. Sykes is going to be facing Hebner, Stearns, and Montanez. And that's in play 84. To Obergfell. One down. John Stearns, Met catcher. In play 94. Sky to left. Lou Brock makes it look easy at 40 years old. Still in great shape. Looking good out there. Tough 70. And that's a grounded to short. Templeton rifles to get Montanez. 3 up, 3 down. Again, Sykes dominant. Despite his over 6 ERA. It's Craig Swan's going to be facing Sykes. Sykes is a 3 batter. That's a 9. That's going to be ballpark 41 for a lefty batter. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1 to 16 as a hit. There's no chance of a home run here. See what happens. And that's a 98. That's going to be fly to left. That's going to be out number 1. Gary Templeton. Craig Swan sets and deals. In play 83. Sky to center. Mazzilli. 2 down. And Lou Brock. He grounded out in his first at bat. He's 0 for 1. That's in play 0-9. And that's going to be a base hit. So Brock on with a single. Really, I didn't know that, man. Thank you. You're a plethora of anecdotes, man. Love that. Did not know that was his last year. I was thinking maybe, 81, 80, 81, 82, something like that. That's sad. Sad to see Lou Brock go. So he's on at first. We're going to see if he can steal a base. He actually, in his last year, stole 21 bases, was caught stealing 12 times. So we need, for him to try to steal here against John Stearns, 5 or less. And we roll the 6, so he does not go. And it's Keith Hernandez, 2 outs. Brock takes his lead. And that's a 7, tough 30, not a wild pitch. And it's a strikeout. Keith Hernandez. Curveball got him. And we go to the bottom of the third. Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes was 4-3 with a 6.18 ERA, and so far he's no-hitting the Mets. And that's an 8 patient 51. A patient 51 is going to be a base hit single for Joel Youngblood. Joel Youngblood's on at first. And Youngblood may steal. He had 18 stolen bases, caught 13 times. So we're going to roll a 4. He goes, and no, we roll a 10. So he will not go. Doug Flynn. That's ballpark 39 for a righty. That's going to be, nope, outside of range. It's in play. We're looking at in play. Played great World Series games, yep. And it's an in play 29. And that's going to be out of range. It's going to be popped up right side. And that's Hernandez. 1 down. And now the pitcher, Craig Swan's going to bat. He's a C. Bunter. He's going to bunt. And a C is going to be a sacrifice hit to the third baseman. And the runner advances, and the crowd appreciates it. Appreciates the bunt. A loud cheer for a bunt. Wow. And runner advances. So there's 2 outs. Runner on second. Youngblood's at second. It's Steve Henderson. Here's the pitch. And that's tough. 17. And that's going to be a strikeout. Henderson down on strikes for the third out. We go to the top of the fourth. Ted Simmons. And defense 15. That's going to be either range or an error for sure. And it's going to be range third base. So that's a hit. We're going to see what kind of hit. Is it a 1 or a 2 bagger? And a hit against third base is going to be a single. So Simmons with a single by Hebner. He's on at first with nobody out. Dane Org batted .284 versus righties. That's in play 97. In play 97. It's going to be fly to right. Youngblood there. Makes the catch. 1 down. Tony Scott, switch hitter, batting lefty. That's in play 11. In play 11. It's going to be a base hit. Single into the gap. Runner advances 1 base. So there's only 1 out. Runners on first and second. And it's Ken Reitz. Here's the pitch from Swan. That's a 9. Ballpark 11. So that's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse for Reitz is going to be 1-36. 1-36. Let's see what happens here. 17. It's going to be runner on second is going to score. So it's a single line drive to left. And Ted Cruz is being waved home. So, and Tony Scott is going to hustle into third base. RBI single for Ken Reitz. St. Louis up 1-0. Ken Obergefell now. The Mets playing back. Ken Reitz is not a threat to steal. No, he is not. That's a 7 tough. A tough 77. Going to take us to the out range, and that's a high fly center field. Not deep enough to score anybody. So everybody holds. And the pitcher's up, Bob Sykes. Bob Sykes is a 3-pitcher batter. It's tough, 84. It's going to be a strikeout. Sykes down on strikes, retires the side, but the Cards pick up a run, and they lead at 1-0 going to the bottom of the fourth. Now the Mets haven't scored a run in 12 innings. They were shut out in yesterday's game. It's Bob Sykes versus Frankie Taveras. And that's a 9. That's going to be in play 56. In play 56, outrange. Fly to right. Danorg makes a catch. Lee Mazzilli, he's 0 for 1 with a ground out. And that's tough 49. Base hit. Lee Mazzilli lines one to left. Lou Brock gets it in. And Mazzilli's on at first. Ted Simmons is not a good arm, so Mazzilli's going to try to see if he can steal second. And he can't get the lead. And it's Richie Hebner. 1 out. That's an 8. That's going to be Patient 09. Patient 09 is a base on balls. Hebner walks. First and second now. John Stearns. And that's a tough 69. Tough 69 takes us to a ground ball second base. We rolled a 6. It's a DP 10 and a DP 9. It's going to be we rolled a 69. That's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Carr's out of the inning with that double play. So he advances and he's out there. Oh, what? Got to redo the whole thing again. Ground out. 4-6-3. Out. Double play. Done. And that retires the side. It's going to be Gary Templeton leading off versus Greg Swan. It's 1-0 Cards. We're in the top half of the 5th inning. Versus Gary Templeton. We're playing payoff pitch using the Stealth Dice Tower. Tough 61. That's a base hit. Gary Templeton. Singles 61 under tough. Double check that. Yep, it's a base hit. That Templeton may run. See what happens. 5 or less he goes. And he does go. That's Snake Eyes. And we're going to double check Stearns. Stearns is an arm. I should know by now it's 3. So Templeton is a C3. C3 is normal. So now we're going to pull a card, look at the base stealing section. And he's out. So Stearns guns him down. Normal is out. And it was Lou Brock. So it's the shortstop covering. Two six. And Lou Brock, the batter. 1 down here in the top of the 5th inning. Cardinals lead at 1-0. It's ballpark 0-4, so that's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse for Brock is 1-15 as a home run. Goes 1-48. Gonna have to re-roll that. And it's a 59. It's going to be outrange. It's a fly to left, deep fly ball. Henderson back to the track, makes the catch. 2 down. And it's Keith Hernandez who's 1 for 2. He's singled and struck out. That's a tough 44. That's a single, base hit. Line to right. It's Hernandez's second hit of the game, and we're going to double check that. That's a 7, tough 44, tough 44 versus a righty. It's a base hit. Keith Hernandez did bat .353 versus righties, so that's no surprise. Ted Simmons now with 2 outs. Runner on first. 6 in play, 89. In play 89 is outrange. Grounded is short. Taveras fires the first. Side retired. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Willie Montanez leading it off here at Shea Stadium. Beautiful downtown Flushing, Queens. We're surrounded by junkyards. The bay is off to our left, and the airport, LaGuardia Airport, not far beyond the bay. Bob Sykes with the pitch. Tough 18. It's going to be a strikeout. So Montanez goes down swinging. It's ballpark 56. So that's going to be in play to Youngblood. It's a 94. It's going to be outrange. It's going to be fly to left. Lou Brock there. Out number 2. And Doug Flynn, who's 0 for 1. And that's ballpark 74. That's going to be in play for Flynn. And a 37 in play versus a lefty. So grounded at first, Keith Hernandez. Out number 3. Craig Swan's going to be facing Dane Org. Dane Org is 0 for 2. We are in the top of the 6th inning. And that's in play 27. It's a line drive base hit for Dane Org. He's on at first. Not a threat to steal. Tony Scott. That's 11. Patient 46. Patient 46, that's going to be out range. It's going to be popped up to the left side. And Hebner in foul grounds makes the catch. 1 down. Ken Reitz. Ken Reitz is 2 for 2. Oh, whoa. That went flying. We can't find it now. I didn't even hear it hit the ground. Okay, there it is. That's an 11. Patient 18. And that's going to be a grounder down the line. Steve Henderson chasing after it in the corner. And Dane Org may score. He does not. They're going to hold him up at third. So it's a double. It's a double for Ken Reitz. Second and third now, only 1 out. Ken Obergefell, the batter. And the Mets are going to play it in with second and third. And that's an 11. It's Patient 23. Patient 23. And is a base on balls. Bases are loaded. So we're going to double check that. Patient 23 on a right-hander. It's going to be a base on balls. Bases are loaded. So now the infield's going to go back. It's Bob Sykes. Try to get the double play here. And that's a 7. It's tough. A tough 41. It's going to be a strikeout. So now 2 outs now. So Sykes goes down swinging. Failed to help his own cause there in a good situation for the Cardinals. Bases are loaded. 2 outs now, and it's Gary Templeton. Now Templeton is trouble. 293 versus right-handed pitching. Here's the pitch. It's a 6. It's in play 57. In play 57 is out range. It's a grounder. Hit hard to Hebner at third. He's going to step on the bag for out number 3. So Swan gets out of that inning by the skin of his teeth. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Bob Sykes is going to be facing Swan here to lead it off. 1-0 game. Swan is allowed 10 hits. So leading it off here in the bottom half of the 6th, we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. We're going to bring in Gil Flores. And then it's going to be Dale Murray. So Gil Flores now is going to pinch hit for Swan, who's not having the best of days. Here's the pitch to Flores. And that's an 8. Patient 71. And that's going to be a fly ball center field. 1 down. And it's Steve Henderson. Steve Henderson's 0 for 2. Pitch from Sykes. Patient 0-1. Base on balls. So Henderson on with a walk. That's the tying run at first base. Now Henderson is a threat to steal. Had 13 bases. We need a 4 or less. We do not get it. Frankie Taveras. And that's a 5. Tough. A tough 67. Tough 67 versus a lefty. That's going to be a ground ball second base. That's a 5 we rolled. And that's a DP there and a DP here. So it's 4-6-3. Cards out of the inning. Again, a double play saves the day for the Cards. And now it's going to be Dale Murray coming in for the Mets. Dale Murray. I'll tell you a little bit about him in a second. Dale Murray was 4-8 with a 4.82 ERA, but did pitch in almost 60 games for the Mets since '79. Not a very good relief pitcher, but the Mets weren't a very good team, losing 99 games that year. So that's in play 23 to Lou Brock. Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's see. In play 23 to Lou Brock versus a righty. A base hit. So Brock is on with a single, his second hit of the day. Will Brock go? Let's see what happens. He does not. Keith Hernandez. And that's a 7. That's a tough 20. A tough 20 is a strikeout. Hernandez strikes out for the second time. Ted Simmons. Patient 65. Patient 65. That's going to be outrange. That's going to be a grounder to second. We rolled the 3, so that's a double play on the pitcher's card and a double play on the batter's card. And it's a 65, which is going to be a 4-6-3 double play. That ends the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. We're going to see Mazzilli, Hebner, and Stearns in a 1-0 game here with the Cardinals up at Shea Stadium. Bob Sykes still on the mound. It's allowed but 2 hits. Lee Mazzilli, one of the better Mets players, batted .302 from the right side, .306 versus left-handed pitchers. Hey man, Tribe fan, how are you, brother? 9, in play 21. That's going to be a base hit. Lee Mazzilli, tying run is on. And Lee Mazzilli may try to take off to second, and he does not. Richie Hebner now. Here's the pitch. Lefty versus lefty, 5. Tough. We're going to have to re-roll that. And that's a 0-4. A tough 0-4 is a strikeout. Hebner down on strikes. High cheese got him. John Stearns. Ballpark, 39. Right-hander. That's going to be in play here at Shea. It's tough for right-handers at Shea. And it's going to be a 94, an in-play 94 outrange. And that's going to be lifted to left. Brock right there. And that's 2 down. And it's Willie Montanez. That's a 9. That's going to be in play 60. Outrange. Sky to left. Brock again. Retires aside. In the top of the 8th, Dale Murray versus Dane Org. Dane Org batted .284 versus righties. That's a 9. Ballpark 71. That's going to be in play. And it's a 65. In play 65 is outrange. Grounded to short. Taveras throws him out. 1 away. Tony Scott. We're in the top of the 8th inning. It's 1-0 Cards. 7 tough, 93. Fly to left, Steve Henderson. Squeezes it, 2 down. And it's Ken Reitz. Reitz is 3 for 3 today. Cardinal third baseman, in play 34. In play 34 versus a righty. It's popped up. Richie Hebner. That retires aside. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Bob Sykes is still in there. Now, Bob Sykes didn't complete any games, or he's going to get pulled. There's action in the dugout, in the bullpen, excuse me, and there's action in the dugout. Like a lot of guys spitting chewing tobacco. And we're going to pull Sykes here for Darryl Knowles. Darryl Knowles had a record, I believe, in the '73 World Series where he pitched in the first relief pitcher to pitch in all 7 games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's his record, or at least he established it in that World Series. He did it for the first time ever. Darryl Knowles is coming in to replace Sykes. We're going to add him to iScore. me see. And Darryl knows bats left, throws left. All right, he's going to pitch to Youngblood. And that's a 4 in play 78. And that's going to be out range. Fly to center, Tony Scott. 1 down, Doug Flynn. Doug Flynn's 0 for 2. That's 9, tough, 16. That's going to be a strikeout. Flynn. Curveball gets him. Totally fooled. And now we have the pitcher spot. And we're going to get a pinch hitter. And it's going to be Alex Trevino. Trevino for Dale Murray. Here's the pitch from Knowles. And that's 7 in play 16. In play 16 versus the lefty. Base hit. So Trevino on with a single, a 2-out single. Tying run now. And Trevino runs well. Good base runner. And Steve Henderson. Steve Henderson's 0 for 2. Tying run is on at first base. And let's see if Trevino can run for us. Trevino had 2. You know what? We're going to try to run with Trevino. He's a D. We're not going to try to run with him. Let's see what happens here. See if we can get a double out of Henderson. Darryl Knowles versus Steve Henderson. That's a 6 patient 53. Patient 53. Oh, it's a base hit. 2-out base hit. Single into the gap in center, and Trevino's going to hustle over to third. So first and third now. First and third, and it's Frank Taveras. Darryl Knowles versus Frank Taveras. It's a 1-0 St. Louis lead here in the bottom of the 8th. There's 2 outs. The Mets have the tying run at third base and the go-ahead run at first. And they're going to try to run with Henderson. And that's a 5. I don't know that Henderson goes, and he does not. He's a 4. Needed a 4 there to do that. So it's first and third, 2 outs. Tying run is 90 feet away. And here's the pitch to Frank Taveras from Darryl Knowles. Now, Knowles was 2-5 with a 4.07 ERA. That's a 3. That's ballpark. 44 with a righty. That's going to be in play. So let's see what we roll here. For in play, we need a 1-29. Oh, we almost had, 74. That's going to be out. And that's going to be a fly ball center field. Tony Scott running in, makes the catch for out number 3. So that was exciting. And it's going to be Dale Murray's out now, so we're going to bring in Neil Allen. Neil Allen was 6-10 with 3.55 ERA, 50 games, 5 games started for the Mets. He's going to pitch to Oberkfell. Oberkfell is 0 for 2. Here's the pitch from Neil Allen. That's 11. That's ballpark 73, so that's in play for Oberkfell. And that's a 35, in play 35. And that's going to be out range. It's popped up to the right side, Doug Flynn, 1 down. And now we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Cards. It's going to be Jerry Mumphrey's a switch hitter. Mumphrey's going to pinch hit for Darryl Knowles. Here's the pitch from Allen to Jerry Mumphrey with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. It's a 6. That's a tough 72. Tough 72 is out range. That's lined and caught by Flynn. Hits it right on the nose, but right at the second baseman. And it's Gary Templeton now. And before we pitch to Templeton, we're going to quickly look at, see who the closer was for the Cards in 79. Mark Littell looks like he has 13 saves, so he looks like a closer. And we're going to bring in Mark Littell to close it out. So here's the pitch from Neil Allen to Gary Templeton, who's 1 for 4. And that's a 5. In play 71. That's going to be out range. Grounded to second, Doug Flynn. Over to first. for out number 3. So in the 9th inning, it's going to be Mark Littell coming in to pitch to Lee Mazzilli, Richie Hebner, and John Stearns. And we're writing him in 2 T's and 2 L's. Mark. And Mark is a righty, right-hander. All right, so here it is. It is the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 1-0 Cards. 1-0 Cards, bottom of the 9th. And the Mets are going to bring up Lee Mazzilli leading it off. He's a switch hitter batting right. Actually, he's a switch hitter. He should be batting left against Littell, who's did I make Littell? I may have made Littell a lefty for some reason. Let me go back and check out Littell. Throws right. Let me see what's going on there. Why Mazzilli should be a switch hitter. Let's double check that. And he is. Don't get that. All right. Well, anyway, Mazzilli should be batting from the left side, but he's not. I don't know why the system didn't turn him around. So anyway, here's the pitch from Mark Littell, and that's patient. A patient 62 versus a righty is going to be a ball laced into the gap, and Tony Scott after it. Mazzilli around first. Here's the throw, and he's safe under the tag with a leadoff double. So Mazzilli tying run at second base, nobody out. And not what the doctor ordered for Mark Littell, that's for sure. And it's going to be Richie Hebner now. He's a left-handed batter. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out, walked, and struck out. And Lee Mazzilli's on at second base. Here's the pitch. That's a 3. That's defense. A defense 67. That's going to be an out no matter what it is. It's going to be an out to the second baseman. But Lee Mazzilli may move to third, and he does not. He's going to hold. It's too hit hard right at Obergfell. 1 down now. Mazzilli, the tying run at second base. It's a 1-0 game in the bottom of the 9th. It's John Stearns. John Stearns versus right-handers, bat at 241. Here's the pitch to Stearns from Littell. It's an 8. That's tough. A tough 30 is going to be a wild pitch, and over to third goes Mazzilli. So Mazzilli's 90 feet away with the tying run here in a 1-0 game. And John Stearns is the batter. The infield is going to come in for the Cardinals, so we're going to get our little card here. Base is not loaded, as you can see that. It's going to be up here for us. And here's the pitch from Littell. It's a 7. That's in play 15. And an in play 15 versus a righty is a line drive base hit. Game is tied. John Stearns ties the game with a 1-out single here in the bottom of the 9th. And it's tied at 1. So Clutch, John Clutch Stearns comes through for the Mets at Shea. And the crowd is ecstatic, although they're a little bit stoic, not liking to show their emotions too much, as you can tell. And it's Willie Montanez. Stearns is going to try to run now. See if he gets a chance. That's a 4, so Stearns may go. Stearns had 15 stolen bases and 15 caught stealing. So he's a D, so that's a D4. We're going to check and see what that looks like. D4 is going to be normal. And we're going to pull a card for John Stearns, who's going to second. And he's safe. John Stearns with a stolen base. Big stolen base here. Off of Ted Simmons, not known for having the best defensive arm. And Willie Montanez now with the winning run at second base against Mark Littell, the closer for the St. Louis Cards. So, you know what? We're going to walk Willie Montanez, and that'll potentially give us the opportunity for a double play. I'm going to intentionally walk Montanez, first and second, and Joel Youngblood. Joel Youngblood, we're going to roll. It's 47, wouldn't have been too much. So now it's going to be Joel Youngblood against Mark Littell, first and second. It's a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the ninth, and there's only one out. So the Mets really have the winning run at second base. We'll see what happens. Here's the pitch from Mark Littell to Joel Youngblood, a right-handed batter. Snake Eyes' ballpark, 96 is going to be in play. So we're looking at Joel's in play, 1-29. And we rolled a 12. 1-29, a 12 is a single. Let's see what the card says. Sharp liner drops in front of the left fielder. Runner on second advances one base and question mark. So Lou Brock, I don't think I remember him having like all that great an arm. His arm is a 7. John Stearns runs pretty well. John Stearns is a 7 runner, so 7 or less. We're going to try to score Stearns on this single to left field. So let's do that. Youngblood singles to left. We're going to have a play at the plate, folks. And they asked me what happened to the runner that was on second base, so he's going to try for home. I don't know what's going to happen yet. But we need to roll 7 or less. 7 or less, he's safe. 8 or more, he's out. And that's a 7. He's safe. Game over. And Joel Youngblood. Game-winning hit for Joel Youngblood. Game-winning single. And the Mets win it by a score of 2-1 in dramatic fashion here in the bottom of the ninth. And I'll just run through that. So the inning in the bottom of the ninth starts out with Mark Littell faces Lee Mazzilli, and Lee Mazzilli hits a line drive for a double, so he's on at second. Then there's a wild pitch, and Mazzilli moves to third. Richie Hebner grounds out to second base, but it was hit so hard that Mazzilli had to stay put at second. Then there's a wild pitch. He moves to third, so now there's one out. Mazzilli's on at third with the tying run. John Stearns comes up, hits a medium line drive for a single. Mazzilli scores. Game is tied. Stearns steals second. He's on at second base. Montanez is intentionally walked to create a double play opportunity. And then that's what brings up Joel Youngblood, who hits a medium line drive for a single to left. And then the throw by Brock was not in time and doesn't really have the arm for that. And the game is over. The Mets win. So they split the 2-game series here at Shea. They lose the first one to the Cards, but win the second game. And I'll give you the line score. Cardinals, 1 run, 11 hits, no errors, 9 left on base. Mets, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 7 left on base. And the losing pitcher is going to be Littell. The winning pitcher is going to be the last pitcher that the Mets had, and that was, I believe, Neil Allen. Pretty good game here using payoff pitch, and I like that. I knew that we were going to try to score that with the question mark on the card. It tells you, hey, it's going to be coach's choice, and with Brock's arm, which is a 7, pretty high, and then with Stearns' running ability, which is 7, pretty high, we needed to roll 7 or less to score. We rolled exactly that. It came out of but I use those anyway now. I don't re-roll them. So I just kind of, wherever they land, I take it. But we rolled a 7, and that was Stearns slid under the tag, and the game is over. Mets win it by a score of 2-1 in dramatic fashion. Exciting game. Hope you all enjoyed it. And we're going to set up for the next series now. I don't know that I'm going to play any more tonight. Not even sure what time it is. But let me stop that a second. I want to take a quick peek at the schedule. So this was a 2-game set. St. Louis came to town for 2 games, and it was game number 34 and 35. Now it's going to be a 3-game set versus Chicago. The Cubs come into town, and I don't know what the Cubs were like in '79, but we're going to find out. So here are the Cubs, and we're ready to get them started. So we're going to start working on that. And that's all she wrote. So Combat Painter is going to sign off here. I thank everybody for stopping by and checking it out, and I will continue to roll, and you do the same. Keeping our hobby alive, keeping the memories, keeping the history alive, taking us back to another time, another place. I'm working on a webcam so I can so I can record instead of always having to do live streams, because I can minimize a lot of stuff. And when I get interrupted, I can stop every so often. So I'll go live when there's nobody home, but when there are people home, they're always kind of looking for me. And when they hear me talking, they know that I'm either talking to myself or I'm broadcasting one of these games. So I bought a camera, a webcam, and I'm going to try to set it up. I have an old computer. It's about 10 years old. I'll tell you, it's a Windows 7, so I guess that's 2007, right? I think that's when that came out. Yeah, Cards bullpen, Mark Littell, man. This is the guy. This is the guy. Look at this. 9-4, 219. So you can't say I threw the game in favor of the Mets. This is the guy. 63 games, 13 saves. I went through the whole lot of cards, and this was the guy that was going to get them out of trouble. But he could not. He could not stop the Mets powerhouse machine, the Mets offensive machine. The big blue machine is what I call them. The 79 Mets had a big blue machine. So Mark Littell blew it for the Cards in this game for sure. And Bob Sykes, man, he's a guy with a 6 ERA. He held the Mets to what? I think 3 hits or 4 hits, something crazy. We had to pull him because he had no complete games. So that's the story. And I'm going to sign out. My dog just came in to visit me, knocked over all my boards. He's very excitable. So I'm going to see you later. We'll talk somewhere else, guys. I'm going to kind of surf to see if anybody else is running any games. I was watching a game last night. I was watching Jenkins' 25th. 69 payoff pitch. Jenkins, I can't remember who's doing that. But one of us is doing that, and I've been watching that. I was halfway through it, so I have to watch the other half. And then tomorrow morning when I go to work, I listen to Dave, who's doing the Chicago replays. I listen to that. I have a 40-minute drive to work, and I listen to that on the way there. So, Bleacher Bums is doing that one. All right, yeah, I told him keep on doing it because I'm hooked. I listened to that in the afternoon, so I listened to his Jenkins replay in the afternoon on the way back, and then I listened to Baseball Demos Dave on the way to work in the morning, and then everybody else I kind of get to here and there, trying to get to everybody as much as I can. So